I have 4 knives that I'm going to be reviewing, and they've either been reviewed to death already, or I just don't see a need to do a full-blown review on them. So I'm going to show you a couple size comparisons, do a general overview of the knife, and whether or not I think it's worth the price. First knife on the list is the Civivi Baby Banter. Here it is next to the Civivi Altis and the Kershaw Launch 10. Despite being closer to the Launch 10 in size, it still fills out your hand. This cool little sheep's foot style blade is rocking out Nitro V steel. The whole thing was designed by Ben Banters. This originated from the original Wee Banter. This does have G10 scales with recessed liners, a recessed pocket clip with flathead screws, so it's going to sit nice and deep in your pocket. It is also ambidextrous with the lanyard hole. In hand, you have full control over this knife. The action is nice and snappy. This knife is going for $70. All in all, for Nitro V blade steel, ceramic ball bearings, and Civivi construction, this is a really well-built knife. This is actually my electrician's knife at work. I got it for him because I was on a hunt to find something that would work best for him, and I can tell you, he loves this thing. His favorite part about this knife is this. He takes the blade and positions his finger right above the tip, so when he's making cuts into wire, he can actually cut the shielding of the wire or the insulation of the wire while controlling the depth. That has made this knife an absolute asset to his everyday tools. If you were to ask him if it's worth $70, he would tell you all day, every day. Next on the list is the Artisan Cutlery Sirius in G10 and ARRPM9 steel. Here it is next to the Benchmade Bug Out and Off-Grid Knife Scorpion. This knife has a long, pokey profile. I would actually compare it to the CRKT CEO, just a little bit thicker. The pocket clip on this particular model is titanium and looks really nice, but it is not ambidextrous. I absolutely love it when they do this and just put a lanyard post instead of punching a hole straight through the knife. This is a Ray Laconico design. It can be thumb flipped or front flipped. Both deployment methods work great. This is on ceramic ball bearings, so the action is phenomenal. This knife has a price tag of $70. For ARRPM9, G10, and recessed liners, that's not a bad price. Overall, my impressions of this knife is it's kind of a glorified letter opener. It's very long, slicey, but it is not robust at all. In use, I was terrified to break this tip. If you're looking for that knife that's long, slicey, and you don't have to pry anything with it, this is your knife. In a more EDC-friendly world, we have the Spartan Aster. The Spartan Aster is a Les George design, and as you can see in the design language, very similar to the ProTech Rockeye. It is also much larger than the Hinderer 3-inch. This has a good-looking drop point blade with a swedge that goes all the way to the tip. It is in CTS XHP blade steel. There is only one liner. That is because the other side is G10/carbon fiber mix. They didn't put a liner on the other side, and that saves a lot of weight here. The pocket clip is recessed and ambidextrous, but unfortunately they are using button head screws. Not a big issue because there's a lot of room inside of this fold over. Unlike the ProTech Rockeye, in hand this definitely forces you into a particular position. I find the Rockeye ergonomics to be much more neutral. This knife is coming in for around $150 for a Les George design, CTS XHP blade steel, and these G10 carbon fiber scales. I think materials for the price, it is doing very well. A couple of personal issues that I have with this knife that are purely opinions is that I don't like forced ergonomics, and I am not a fan of G10 carbon fiber mix. Next, we have the Artisan Cutlery Ravine. Here it is next to its larger brother, the Artisan Cutlery Proponent, and for a smaller knife reference, the Spyderco Subvert. In my opinion, this is very similar to the Proponent in that the cutting edge is almost the exact same, the blade shape is almost the exact same. The only difference is they lopped off the tip of the Proponent and threw it on another knife. This is sporting a two-tone titanium Framelock. The pocket clip is titanium, not ambidextrous, but it is milled. It looks kind of nice and it fits the design. Instead of any milling for this knife, they actually just did cutouts for weight relief, and I think it turned out quite nicely. We have a very basic backspacer with Artisan Cutlery printed on the back. Uniquely enough, the bottom screw in this that holds in the backspacer also serves as a lanyard hole. I feel like the only way that you're ever going to hold this knife is right in the choked up position. You're very close to the blade and you have full control. The flipper tab works great, and the action, due to being such a heavy blade, works fantastic. This knife is a lot of fun to use. It acts as just like a large razor blade. It's this hulking monster, but it's similar to the Proponent in that you probably don't need it, but it's gonna make you smile. I've seen the price point all over the place, anywhere from $160 to $240. This knife is definitely not worth $240 for S35VN and Titanium, but for the $160, I think that's a great price for this knife. If you guys like this multiple knife review style, let me know in the comments below.